Some hoes in this house. Well, that's a great first impression. Hello. Ew, that's so creepy. My name is Krystal and this is the Ray and the Sol. If this is your first time here, sit back, relax, have some coffee, enjoy yourself. I'm here to talk about one of the most amazing, spectacular, phantasmic, is that a word? Disney, don't sue me, please. Most wonderful time of the year. You guessed it, it's Halloween. I think we can all agree that Halloween is not the most eco-friendly holiday and it can end up being pretty wasteful. During this autumn time, consumers are really pushed to buy new things such as disposable party items and then plastic skeletons, plastic pumpkins, all that spooky stuff. And what this video is about, single-use Halloween costumes. If anybody wants to take a look at the articles that I've read, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the description box below. In 2017, there was a study conducted that showed that Americans spent on average $3.5 billion on Halloween costumes alone. Imported fast fashion is not the most eco-friendly thing to buy. Ew. On top of that, all of these costumes usually get packaged in plastic packaging. According to the Emergency Protection Agency, about 30% of the US's solid waste is purely plastic packaging. If you live in a major city like I do, you more than likely have access to alternatives or options when it comes to purchasing literally anything. Because we have all of these options, I feel like it's even more important for people like us to do research and make sure that we're purchasing options that are not only good for us and adding value to our lives, but it's good for our community and the people on our earth. The reason why I'm creating this video is to help people like me who love Halloween as much as I do, but want to choose outfits or costumes in a more eco-friendly way. Well, hop on! Let's just move into this next segment. Woo! So my first recommendation, and I cannot stress this enough, is to use what you already have. If you have old costumes that you can use, or if you have clothes that you can transform into a costume, bada bing, bada boom. Here are some awkward examples of me throughout the Halloween years, kind of just creating costumes out of what I found in my closet. Moving on to my second recommendation, I suggest that y'all check out thrift stores or secondhand stores. That's a great place to find donated costumes that were probably only used once. I went through my closet and I brought out 2 examples for this segment. So for my first example, I got this at a thrift store and you can definitely tell by the way it's made that it was a single-use Halloween costume. Very cute. It was a very easy thing to put on every year. And for my second example, and side note, I got this in the youth section. This costume honestly is probably for a child, but I wore it as a little jumper clown costume. You could definitely tell that it was handmade just by the stitching and all the details, the little details and love that was put into it. So this is just a side note. If you're making a Halloween costume, putting a little bit more effort into how it's made and the materials you're using will hopefully have it last a little longer, which is great in the long run. My third recommendation would be to swap/borrow Halloween costumes for the night. If you have friends that are the same size as you, why not do a little swippity swappity and just borrow each other's costumes? Never forget to explore your options, guys. Sharing is caring. My fourth recommendation would be to rent costumes. Renting costumes is usually a little bit more of an expensive option because these costumes tend to be more extravagant. I have never rented a costume before, but I just wanted to let y'all know that it is an option that exists. Now moving on to my last recommendation, which is also my personal favorite, is making your own costumes. For this option, you will definitely have to commit some time into completing your costume, but I believe it's such a rewarding experience, especially if you're someone who really thrives off of creativity. You can either create your costume completely from scratch, or you can use already existing garments to create your costume. So I actually tried creating my costume from scratch a couple years ago, and this is the finishing product. Beautiful, huh? This is my Aladdin costume, and I actually will show you some photos right here to show off my final result. When we were looking for fabric, I was really lucky to find the fabric at discounted locations. So if you ever go to a fabric store, they usually have a section where there are rolls that don't sell very often, and instead of allowing companies to throw away these rolls of fabric, this store would purchase those rolls so that it wouldn't go to waste. So the second option was to create a Halloween costume from garments that already exist. And this year will be my first year doing that. So my Halloween costume inspiration this year is from Hot Rod. I'm going to be dressing up as Andy Samberg's character, Rod Kimball. Yes. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to do that. So let's go on this journey together and check out my whole creativity process on creating this costume. Wish me luck. I headed down to St. Vincent in downtown LA. Don't mind me just passing an inappropriate car right now. This is the biggest thrift store in Los Angeles. Look at all these rows. It's just an anxiety waiting to happen. I was really lucky to find something right away that could work. They were 2 denim dresses that were 2 different colors. I just kind of needed to decide which one I wanted to go with. Now I needed to find some denim jeans. I needed to get a wider pant, so I went to the men's section where I didn't find anything too great that would work. Then I headed down to the women's section where there were way too many options. In the end, it came down to 2 options. I couldn't try anything on because of safety and health reasons, so I just chose the one that I thought would fit me best. Then I went to the kids section and I got a plain red shirt and a dark denim jean because I would need that fabric later on. I was looking through their fabric section where I quickly found this bright yellow fabric that would be perfect for Rod's cape. This is just a friendly reminder to check out your thrift store's Halloween costume options that they have there. They're either on the racks or in their original plastic packaging. I brought a reusable cloth bag, that way I can wash it right away afterwards as well. I made a disinfectant solution where I washed all of the thrift store clothes and I left everything on the hangers to air dry afterward. And once everything was all completely air dried, I went ahead and I started working on my pieces. I have this little thread separator which I used to separate the thread on the sleeve. And once that was done, I created some red strips that I needed for Rod's sleeves. I pinned it down, and once I was done sewing, it was time to work on the dark denim portion of the shirt. I measured everything for the collar and the pockets, and I sewed some stuff by hand, and I just covered the pocket on top. I made long strips for the collar, and I made some other big strips for the cuffling. That's not a cuffling. What is that? For the bottom portion of the, okay, whatever. This is the finishing product. Now it was time to connect the jeans to the top of the shirt, and I tried to do something cool, but it just looked really overexposed. Ignore that. And now I have to sew that dark denim strip to the side part of the jeans. So the next thing that I did was sew the shirt to the denim portion, and I did that before sewing the rest of that dark denim strip. So I took off the little leather patches from the denim jeans and I put them together, and with the remaining fabric I made an American flag out of it. This was unnecessary. I could have just bought a patch, but I wanted to use up as much fabric as I could. I had some leftover red fabric which I used to make the rod letters for the cape, and with my obnoxiously yellow fabric I went ahead and I cut up a strip to make my cape. I put the red letters on the cape, and bada bing bada boom. Oh wow, look, that was magical. And I went ahead and I used an old white shirt to put the star on the back of the jumpsuit. I sewed the patch onto the front, and with a leftover dark denim strip I made a circular patch, and in crayon I wrote Tony's Auto because I was too lazy to do an embroidery. And bada bing bada boom. I need to come up with a new catchphrase. Bye. Woo! Damn, I have not stressed my leg in a minute, guys. I am pretty happy with how everything came out. I also didn't add like the white painted stripes or like the painted stars. But even when I wore it out like this, people were still able to tell who I was. This is obviously the top, and I'm not as flexible as I think I am, so I can't show the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the finished product right here. I'm really happy with how the costume came out. It's really comfy, which is, in my opinion, the most important part. Just so you know, I'm not doing the traditional like going out for Halloween this year. It is autumn 2020. But thank you so much for sticking with me through this journey. It was a lot of fun. If any of these tips or treats worked for you, or if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comment section down below. Please go ahead and check out my socials at The Ray and The Sol. If you kind of maybe like this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye everybody, and thanks for watching. I know Rod Campbell didn't have these hoops, but I wanted to wear them.